Williams has a new F1 team boss, and it's the now ex-Mercedes strategy chief James Vowles, the man probably best known to fans for once having to radio Lewis Hamilton to apologise for costing him a race win, and of course for the famous Valtteri "It's James" messages whenever Valtteri Bottas needed to be reminded of the Mercedes playbook. So why has Williams chosen Vowles? How well prepared is he after 2 decades spent at Mercedes in its various forms in F1? And what will Mercedes do now it's lost one of its most senior figures? Let's take a look. The appointment of Vowles is confirmation of a fundamental change in direction for Williams. The team has been in the doldrums for the past 5 seasons, finishing last in the championship in 4 of those years. It last won a race in 2012, hasn't finished on the podium since 2017, and scored only 8 points in 2022. When Jos Capito joined Williams in 2021, it was as CEO with the objective of rebuilding the team under the new ownership of Dorilton Capital. When team principal Simon Roberts left a few months later, Capito took up that role in addition to his CEO post, although this was out of necessity rather than reflecting any genuine change in his job. The team principal role is required by the FIA, so Capito simply adopted it. But unlike Capito, whose departure was announced in December, Vowles is team principal with no wider CEO role. That's indicative of owners Dorilton Capital keeping a closer eye on its investment given the stuttering start to its ownership. And there are obvious reasons why it has opted to bring in Vowles to oversee much needed change in the team. Firstly, Vowles is a Toto Wolff disciple. He's worked alongside Wolff at Mercedes for the past decade and is part of the brains trust at the top of the team. His influence stretched far beyond heading up race strategies. This means he's steeped in the culture and working practices of Mercedes, which are regularly cited as central to its success. Ideally, Williams would want to appoint Wolff as team boss, but as that's clearly impossible, the next best thing is someone who knows how Wolff operates and what makes Mercedes so good. Secondly, it hints at where the owners of Williams see the need for improvement, because it's not only a team that has long struggled on track, but also battled internal ructions. Capito attempted to change the culture, but encountered resistance. Regardless of the rights and wrongs of his approach, this clearly didn't work. Mercedes is rightly celebrated for how its team operates, particularly for its lack of blame culture. Wolff has frequently stressed this, describing the culture as the immune system of any organisation and suggesting that Vowles can translate that to Williams. Williams needs Vowles, who lived and breathed the success of Mercedes and the failures of a team he first joined in its BAR guise in 2001. If he can bring some of the qualities Wolff has demonstrated, it will be hugely beneficial. Williams has many problems to solve, including the long-standing struggles on the technical and particular aerodynamic side, and we're still waiting to see who its new technical director will be. But when we asked Vowles about the technical side of the team, he said that culture is the highest thing on his priority list. What Williams wants from Vowles is clear. The 2 questions now are whether he is up to the task, and perhaps more crucially, whether the existing problems of the team are too well entrenched to be fixed by just one change at the top. The last time Williams recruited a key Mercedes figure for its F1 team, it did not end well. Vowles' switch from Mercedes has echoes of Paddy Lowe's move ahead of 2017. Lowe joined Williams as its chief technical officer, having held the position of executive director technical at Mercedes, and as one of the most respected senior technical figures in F1 at the time, this represented a major coup for Williams. But he left the team barely 2 years later in the wake of its disastrous start to 2019, with a car that missed the start of testing, initially had illegal parts on it, then was dreadfully uncompetitive. There were suggestions from inside the team that Lowe proved ill-suited to such a senior position, despite having excelled in narrower roles before this. He was quickly painted as the villain of the piece by the Williams hierarchy, although what's happened since has made it clear he was far from the only problem. Vowles' move could be viewed in the same light, a hand-me-down who Mercedes is only letting go because ultimately it has decided it can afford to. But Vowles' previous position at Mercedes is the best evidence to counter that. Though he held a very senior role in the team, he was also a key member of Wolff's inner circle. He was an advisor, a sparring partner to borrow one of Wolff's favourite phrases, and a trusted ally. In the middle of last year, his Mercedes role shifted as he moved off the pit wall to work more closely with Wolff in the wider leadership of the team. As Wolff puts it, he made a massive contribution. Mercedes will still feel Vowles can be replaced, but he had a rock-solid position and has not been eased towards the exit door at all. Instead, he was targeted by Williams after it axed Capito in December. That's a key distinction between Williams recruiting him from Mercedes compared to Lowe, who had been earmarked for an exit by Wolff, who actively wanted to replace him and change the leadership structure. That's why Williams will expect the recruitment of Vowles to go very differently compared to the last time someone moved from Mercedes to Williams in a senior position. How big a loss you think this could be for Mercedes may depend on whether you have a strong opinion on Vowles' competency as its strategic chief. There have been some high-profile strategy howlers from Mercedes, even at the height of its F1 dominance, yet Vowles has always retained Wolff's unwavering support, and Mercedes has always argued its mistakes were just more pronounced than those of other teams, not more common or more egregious. There are two potential consequences for Mercedes. The first is that the 9-person strategy team Vowles oversaw may need a new figurehead, and there will be opportunities for new people there. The second is that Wolff has lost a right-hand man. Although this is unlikely to have an instant tangible impact, it will be something that Wolff himself still feels. So why would Mercedes let someone like that go? Wolff's answer is that it would be unfair to hold him back from a great opportunity he wouldn't have got at Mercedes, at least not in the foreseeable future. Wolff described Vowles as bigger than just a chief strategist, while Vowles said the way his role has changed at Mercedes was because Wolff was allowing him to gain more experience that would eventually make him a team principal candidate. But with Wolff looking likely to continue running Mercedes beyond the end of his contract, which expires at the end of this year, Vowles had nowhere to progress at Mercedes. So when Williams came calling, Wolff did not want to stand in his way. And Mercedes has been strong with its succession planning in recent years, promoting from within to fill gaps in senior roles left by the likes of Aldo Costa, Andy Cowell and James Allison. Wolff says that is the case now, with discussions taking place for years over how someone like Vowles would be replaced, leaving him comfortable with the revised structure Mercedes will have, rather than feeling a big weakness has been created. Linked to the loyalty is perhaps another benefit to Mercedes in Vowles moving across to Williams, as it also guarantees Mercedes has a very good paddock ally. The relationship between Mercedes and Williams has been strong in recent years already, although there were signs of it potentially shifting. Williams signing Alex Albon, for example, was a move directly against what Mercedes wanted, and there were plenty of suggestions that Capito was trying to foster a closer link between Williams and Red Bull. Vowles insists his responsibility will be to do whatever is best for Williams, but it will certainly be no bad thing for Wolff to have someone he counts as a friend in charge of one of his customers.